friends. Didn't have a chance to set up the Thrive stream. I didn't have a chance to set it up, so we'll see if anybody shows up because I don't have my computer, I don't have my stuff. So we'll just give it a moment for people to show up. But until we do, it's weird because nobody's here. So I'm just kind of talking to myself. I can't do a sound check, I can't do anything like that. But let's see if we can get some people to show up so we can have a little Thrive cast. Hello, Pop Herm, good to see you, my friend. Guys, I am in Tennessee right now, and we are doing the seed starting here at the family farm. Yeah, we got 17 acres here, a big old family, 6 kids, and they're wanting to grow all their own stuff. And there's animals, there's cows, there's chickens, goats now, one kind of ornery ram, definitely. So we are getting all the seeds started. We got a nice little greenhouse built, and we got all the seeds getting started. So it's gonna be a wonderful season, just like last year for these guys. So let's see, guys. It's a wonderful day in Tennessee. Did you hear what I said? Because we have to do the sound check. Even though we are mobile and on the road, I'm glad that you guys are here. Wild Bill, what's up, my friend? Says catching it live today. Yes. John Saldana, hello from Colombia. Says, I knew it. I was wondering if you were going on. I'm glad you did. Yes, thank you. You know, I never missed a day of school in my entire life. You know, when I was in grade school and stuff, for 11 and a half years, until the day I got expelled forever, halfway through my senior year. So sometime I'll tell you about that, but yes. Okay, good, thank you, Susanna. She heard what I said. Hello, Brian Airy. Would be nice, Nate, hello. BMF, everyone keeps saying that to me. What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. BMF. I'll take it as a compliment, so thank you. Muddy Paul, it's good to see you here, my friend. So guys, we don't really have a focus today, so let me know, what you're thinking. Should we just do the meditation together? Well, obviously we're gonna do a meditation together. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Good reverse osmosis water with some lemon squeezed into it. Oh my goodness. Guys, we're growing all kinds of good stuff down here. All these different types of tomatoes. We're getting all these seeds started. They took my advice, purple bumblebees. We got the Cherokee purples. We got all these different kinds. Look at this. So many. It's going to be such a wonderful season. So, hello, Pam from South Africa. Good to see you, my friend. And it is, yes, Pam, it's a wonderful day. Okay, everyone's hearing me. Yes. Trish, good to see you here, my friend. Pop Herm says, best meditations, yes. Do you know why? Because we are all doing it together, all over the world. South Africa and Colombia and Matthias in the Netherlands and people all over the place. Let us know where you're viewing from, okay? So we'll give it another couple of minutes, see if anyone else shows up, and then we will all meditate together, guys. It's a wonderful thing. John Saldana says, bless you. I thought you weren't coming on. Lord knows I need this to start the week. I had a horrible week. Oh, man. Well, we're going to turn that around, definitely, because we want to set the tone. That's why Monday morning is important to me, because we set the tone for the week. Now, if we start the week overwhelmed and stressed out about stuff and, oh, man, all these things I got to do, the weekend was hard or the weekend was unsatisfying, all that kind of stuff, you just set the tone for the week. So just like our morning routine, we have to have a Monday routine because the morning routine sets the tone for the day. And so that is why it is so important. And Florabama, okay, so Florida and Alabama. Let's see, Pam says, I watched Awakening into Stillness. Is that by Eckhart, is that the video where he kind of teaches that young man some things? It's a very good video, isn't it? Very good. Popper in Pennsylvania. Okay, good. Let's see here. Okay, John, this is a great question, and this is what we're going to do for this meditation. John says, Nate, I had such a bad week where nothing went right. I mean, nothing. How can one meditate and change my internal vibration? Well, you're in luck because that's what we're going to do, okay? So just got to make sure everybody can hear me. Got this here Rode wireless mic. Hopefully it's working good. And so let's see here. Muddy Paw says, I have 11 new baby birds. Mama hen is amazing. Nice. That's good. Blessed bounty right there. So I'm going to move over just a little bit so I'm out of the wind. And then we are going to start the meditation. Thank you guys for bearing with me, even though, we're on the road and the sound isn't 100%, but it doesn't matter because we're going to make it happen, okay? So let us take this opportunity, guys. Hello, Crystal. Good to see you here. I'm glad you made it. Let us take this opportunity to drop into the meditative state of mind. So wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, just sit it. Just sit still for the moment. Yes, I know. Let's see, maybe I'll try and talk like this. Okay, let me know if it still works. Sound is just always, so I know I seem like I'm obsessed with it, but it's just really important to me because the small nuances of the voice is so important for you to read the intentions. You know what I mean? It's very important to read the intention and the energy behind the words. It's not just the words. So let us take this opportunity to drop into the meditative state. We will do that by taking 3 deep conscious breaths all together, all over the world, breathing deeply in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in, deeply as you can. Hold. Let it go. Last one, fill the lungs. Hold. Let it go. Now we allow the body to breathe however it wants to breathe. Sit with the spine upright, but in a relaxed posture. Relax the shoulders and the neck. Pay attention if you have a clenched jaw. Many people have the jaw clenched without realizing it. And allow the breathing to settle into a rhythm. Feel everything that is happening in this moment. Immediately drop in. The more some of you have started practicing, and you will be able to drop into the meditative state very quickly. Focus right to the breathing. Empty the mind of thoughts. Bring the attention to the sensation of air as it flows in and out of the body. You can feel the subtle flow of air, the ring around the nostrils. Focus only on the sensation of air as it flows in and out. As the body becomes relaxed and the breathing becomes rhythmic and slow, see how deeply you can allow this moment to be exactly as it is. What does that mean, really? You have to come into the 5 senses and see what the senses are interpreting from the environment. The sound that you are hearing. Realize deeply that whatever the sound is all the same. Whether it's the sound of my voice, that appears soothing, or the sound of a dog barking, or the sound of a car passing by. All of it, they're just sound waves that are traveling through the air and are playing with your eardrums. Observe this. Observe. It is only the mind that will create the story that says, I shouldn't be hearing those dogs barking. Why can't the neighbor quiet their dogs? They're interrupting my meditation. Yes, this is all the workings of the ego mind. Just observe. See how the mind wants to create storylines around the sounds that it is hearing. It says some of them are soothing and desirable, but some of them are not desirable and they're irritating me. Just observe the functioning of the mind, how it creates something from nothing. Breathing in, breathing out. Whatever sound is coming to you, just allow it to happen free of the storyline. Perfectly neutral. All sound is perfectly neutral. It is only the mind that creates the storyline around it. Also, notice what the sensation of touch is picking up. Notice how the body feels. Notice the feeling of gravity holding you tightly to the earth. Notice the feeling of energy flowing throughout the body. Some of you that have been practicing this will be able to feel this energy field pulsating throughout the body. This is the inner energy field of presence. It feels wonderful, alive, light. It feels joyous and playful. This is the divine energy that animates your being. Just observe and allow it to happen. Some of you may feel aches or pains in the body. Maybe your hip joint is hurting you. Just feel the sensation without labeling it as pain. Without trying to get away from it, just embrace it. Just for now, for the meditation. We are reconditioning the mind to accept the reality of what is. And to see that our dislike is a storyline. Our aversion is a storyline. Maintain awareness of all these things at once. The heart energy can observe all these things simultaneously. It is only the mind that feels like it has to focus on each one individually. Take a step back and observe from the ultimate observer. And you can see everything that is happening, all the senses, the sound, the smells, the sensations. It's all just happening like a dance. Notice how the mind is the sixth sense. The mind is like a sense. The nose, it smells. The ears, they hear. The mind, it thinks. It creates storylines. That's what it does. So observe it as though you're observing one of the other senses. If thoughts come into the mind, just watch them be. If an advertisement pops up during the meditation, notice the tendency, the reactive habit patterns of the untrained mind, how it wants to immediately react and say, oh, this YouTube is destroying my meditation. This advertisement is so irritating. I can't meditate with all of this advertisements and this noise and blah, blah, blah. Yes, just observe this storyline. Don't feel bad about it. This is what the mind does when it's unconditioned, untrained. Just observe. Maybe some of you feel a brief sensation of boredom. Say, okay, come on. I've been meditating for a long time. I'm getting a little bit restless. Just observe. It's all part of the meditation. It doesn't matter what is happening. It's all the same. Together, let us take a few deep conscious breaths. Breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Last one, fill the lungs. Hold. And let it go. This type of meditation is very profound. Not because the goal is to see how long we can sit here with our eyes closed without reacting. That will naturally increase over time. The length, the number of breaths that you can go before the mind starts wandering away, that doesn't matter at all. That will naturally increase as a side effect. Those are not the goals. Those are just wonderful, beautiful side effects. What is important is what it's doing to the conditioning of the mind. This is everything. This we don't even have to think about. We just do the practice and it reconditions the mind to become unreactive to the stimuli in the environment. It is going in and seeing directly that the external environment does not dictate the internal experience. Not necessarily. It doesn't have to. The meditative, the meditator's mind begins to see that through direct observation, all situations are perfectly neutral. And it is the mind that creates the storyline around the situation. It is the mind and the mind alone that creates the suffering, that then tells me I've had a terrible week. Nothing has gone my way. Why has nothing gone your way? Because you had a storyline about how things should be going that says, no, it was supposed to happen this way. But it didn't happen that way. That's not the nature of reality. So through the meditation practice, we come to find the deep peace that is inherent in every moment of acceptance. Deep acceptance. Now, to the ego mind, this will sound like surrendering, like giving up. Well, if I just accept everything, then how is my weeks ever going to change? If I just accept everything is fine, then how's it going to change? That is because it has remained a mental concept. Your acceptance has remained a mental concept, and therefore it does nothing for your life but confuse you or frustrate you. Your acceptance has to be an energetic experience. And this only comes through conscious awareness and practice. But once that happens, then the energy shifts and everything changes. And you start seeing that the universe will always guide you to that situation which is most conducive to your awakening. That is the only desire of the universe, if there is a desire, by the standpoint of the human mind. If the universe has a desire, its only desire is to awaken to its divine bliss. And the way it's doing that is through you. That is your duty. And so because the human mind cannot see, it cannot possibly conceive of the complexity of what is happening, all of the little nuances. It cannot possibly conceive of all that is now. There is no future, there is no past. It cannot even conceive like this. And so it looks at each individual instance and it says, well, that's not what I want. This isn't good for me. It's because you're not seeing the total picture yet. If you could see with divine eyes the totality of all that is, you would see you are being guided to the ultimate divine bliss and nothing else. You have to allow it to happen. Okay, guys. So, Brian says, my mood has improved so much since I started meditating. I love the calm. I wish I could share this with some of my friends, but they are not expecting. Maybe someday. Yes, definitely. And that is the greatest service that you can give, is to be the light in the world and to not worry about it. You know, when the sun shines, it just shines for everybody. It doesn't try to shine more for some people and not for others, because the nature of the sun is to shine. And it is very much the same way. It is very much the same way with the internal light, which is the radiant light. Val says, Nate, you seem to always say just what I need to hear. The pain in the hip. Yeah, definitely. Yes, I know. I'm getting older. Yes. I'll be 39 this year in July. Yeah. Even though I'm like aging in reverse, guys. I mean, seriously. And I'm not just saying that. It's like the after the sort of awakening process is happened, everything become lighter, and you become directed towards habits and practices that are conducive to well-being, and you're guided away from all the practices that are conducive to feeling heavy and miserable and achy joints and ill health. I, you're guided away from all of that stuff, and it's just magnificent. July 24th, Trish. Yes, Leo. John Saldana says, right on, surrender. Yes, surrender, but we have to be very careful when we use that term, because the ego mind, or the untrained mind, wants to see surrender as like a giving up, as like, okay, waving a white flag, and like you've lost. It equates, the ego mind equates surrender with defeat, but they are not the same thing, not even close. The magic is that only in surrender do we have the ability to conquer, to be a conqueror. Not of other people, that's irrelevant. Of ourself, that's the ultimate conqueror. And so surrender doesn't mean that we don't want the situation to change, or that we're just going to let life happen to us. Whatever happens, fine. It's not that way at all. It's a paradox. It's an illusion that you have influence over your life right now in that way by the ego mind. And so once we step out of the way and we allow the divine energy, the heart energy, to flow through us, infinite spirit opens the way. And infinite wisdom tells us what to do and what to say. Do you understand? This is like the Taoist, the Wu Wei. How many of you know the concept of Wu Wei? The effortless action, the effortless effort, the actionless action. This is exactly what it is. You are being guided in the sense that the universe is pulling you along, opening the way for you. So what appears to be an effort is actually effortless. This everything that I do, when I say these kind of things to some people, they're like, okay, but yet I still see you making all kinds of efforts in life. You're doing all kinds of content, you're doing the ice bath and all the practice, that's effort. And it appears that way. It really does. It appears like that's effort. But once the shift happens, there's no more effort in life. Because who's going to make an effort? There's no one there to make any effort. There is just the radiant flow of energy that is dancing, that is flowing through you and into this world. Freebird says, I can control my peace so much more since starting meditation. It gets better every day. Absolutely it does. Every day and every way it's getting better and better. Yes? Every day in every way it's getting better and better. Say that to yourself thousands of times until the subconscious mind eventually gets hold of the idea of progressive betterment, and you will see what appears to be miracles happening in your life. You will see this. I know this from experience. That's why I'm saying this. Val says, I used to get so irritated over stupid things, especially in the late afternoon, and my cis and its sundowner syndrome. Sundowner syndrome. The ego mind is trying to take over. Yes, definitely. I forget what sundowner syndrome is. Is that like a joke, or is that real? Yeah, definitely. When we get tired, it can feel like that as well. When we're, oh, okay, when we can get tired and stuff. But when we practice, even still we get tired, of course, but we can just observe. We can just observe, the mind's becoming irritated. That still happens. So the mind can still become irritated. But you can just watch it as though you're watching a movie. You say, the mind is irritated. Well, there's the ego mind. The thinking mind never goes away, because that's what the mind does. Just as your hearing, hopefully, God willing, never goes away, your other senses, they don't just go away. The mind, we have to view it like a sense, like a sixth sense. And so it never stops thinking, and that's not the goal. That's not that we don't meditate so that we can just have a blank mind. The meditation, and many of you will eventually experience this, the meditation creates a fracture, a disassociation. It splits the mind into the observer and the observed. The observed is everything that is happening in the mind, and it's all mind. Everything you're seeing, everything you're feeling, experiencing, that's all mind. But it's separate from the observer. That's how powerful the meditation is, and why it's the only thing that will create the fracture and the disassociation that allows us the space. Remember the hot air balloon example? It's the space, the peace, because in this state we are peace. It's not that we have peace, it's that we are the state of peace and of joy. Yes. John says, your words are so profound, it touched my heart. We need to be aware of that ego mind. Absolutely. Just watch it. And remember, this is not a life sentence. You don't have to just watch the ego mind for the rest of your life. Okay, well, I guess I just got to be the observer for. No, it's the reconditioning of the mind that is going to create something entirely new in your life. How many of you feel stuck? I mean, this is very common. How many of you feel like, okay, this is great. Maybe I've got a great job. I've got that job I always wanted, or okay, I wanted a family for a long time. Now I've got kids and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's great. It's nice. I love my kids, wouldn't trade it for anything. But there's still that thing in the background that's like, okay, but it's just not quite right yet. You're not quite there yet. And okay, I wanted for so long to get this job promotion. I wanted for so long to get this new position as part of this team, and I finally got it. And then for 6 months or a year maybe, you're all enthused about it. Life is great. But then those thoughts start creeping in again. The thoughts start creeping in again to where they are, it says, wait a second, this isn't it. This hasn't done it. Something is kind of missing. Maybe you've got a big house, you finally built your dream house, and something is missing in the background. Observe this. It can take people their entire life to see this. They can be 75 years old or 100 years old on their deathbed and think, wow, my whole life has gone by and still I have this yearning within me. Still I have this yearning that something isn't quite complete. This is the search. This is the ego mind, the death drive of the ego mind. This is the search for the end of searching. The ego mind will search forever, and it will manifest it will manifest the symptoms of that search in so many different ways. Addictions or codependency or shopping addictions or eating addictions or just being negative all the time. It will manifest itself in a countless myriad of ways. But it's the same root cause. The search. We will call it the search. So if you don't yet know what I'm talking about, then spend more time observing. You will see it. You will see it. It's at the back of the mind. It's at the back of the mind. It's because it always wants to go home. It never feels at home anywhere in the external world. So, guys, thanks for confirming the sound. Savage Joel, I'm not sure what's wrong with your sound, but I think everything I think is working. So thank you, guys. Okay, she says sound is good, but I have to turn it way up. Yeah, I still don't know exactly how I'm going to be using. I still don't know how to use this stuff, but we just got to do what we got to do. So, Brian says, I love the separation. Now that I have the tools, I am able to build on it. Yes, definitely. You observe. You just observe more and more and more. And just like training a muscle, the observer, we could say, in a way, is like a neurological muscle. The willpower is definitely a neurological muscle that can be strengthened like any other muscle, except times 1,000, way more rapidly, way more intensely it can be trained. Crystal says, I feel like peace is the opposite of resistance. I have stopped resisting what is not for me. If you flow more with what is, then your life will slowly become easier. Let things go. Stop resisting. Yes, guys, this is absolutely right. Let me say this analogy again. Let it just paint a picture in your mind, okay? I've said this before, I'll say it again. But when we are still operating from the ego mind, it is absolutely like you are going upstream against a raging river, and you're battling upstream. You're going upstream, and every movement is a struggle because the flow is coming against you. And you're battling, and everything seems like a struggle, and every little victory just seems like monumental because everything is so, it feels like the flow of life is against you. This is operating from the ego mind. The ego mind loves this. Awakening, essentially, is realizing that the river is flowing this way. And so it's an abrupt turn. We turn and we start going with the flow of the river. And we allow the force of the river to carry us in the direction of life. And once we do this, all of that resistance that we used to feel in life now becomes incredible power. We have all the power of the river is behind us now, and we're unstoppable because now we are going with the flow of life. Yes? And that doesn't mean, don't let the ego mind trick you into thinking that that means that just let anything happen to you. No, that's not what it means. Being awake is being spiritually on fire. It is being an inferno, the heart of a lion. That is awakening. It is not passivity. It's not just letting things happen to us. It's totally the opposite. Only once we start going with the flow of the river do we have the choice, the real choice. Because up until the fracture of the ego mind, we are at the mercy of our conditioning, of our past. And the ego mind is nothing more than a program, a computer program. It has no free will of any kind. And so based upon our past experience, it is going to dictate how we react to life. And we have no control over it until we free ourselves from the ego mind. Then we can start living in an entirely different way, guys. So Wild Bill says, getting it done perfectly versus just getting it done has changed my life for the better and brings a level of peace. Absolutely, guys. On a very practical level, done is better than perfect. Yes, I love that saying. Also, you could say perfect is the enemy of done as well. But, you know, anything short of like brain surgery, you know, that has to be perfect. But like pretty much anything else doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. That's so much better. To be, and it's off your mind, and then you learn. That's the primary thing, you learn. Yes, Kenny Green, definitely. Thinking is resistance. Repetitive noticing of the ego mind breaks the link. Yes, every time you notice, it is chipping away at it. Like I said, it's not a life sentence where you're just going to have to, for the rest of your life, observe the ego mind and battle against it. Not at all. To some people, depending on your past karmas, which karma is actually only relevant to the ego mind, we'll talk about that later, but depending on your past karmas, some of you will be able to do this for a couple of months, and you will have profound changes in your life and in your experience of life. Some of you will have to do it for quite some time, but it doesn't matter because time actually isn't even real, so we don't have to worry. Ooh, yeah, Creative Soil, that's a good point. Says, other people may see the change in you before you do. Daily practice is the key to real change. Absolutely. Consistency is everything. Consistency is everything. Other people will see it in you. Although, again, that's not the goal because the ego mind would say, well, I'm going to show people how virtuous I am now. I'm going to show people how I'm a meditative master now. So I'm going to wear all these beads and accoutrements, and I'm going to get tattoos that, all chakra tattoos and all this stuff, because see how spiritual I am? I've seen so many of these people, guys. I mean, I lived in ashrams in India and stuff, and in Northern California. I mean, it just, you know, and only now do I understand that these people, what I felt at the time, but these people are not any more liberated than anyone else. They're just got a new spiritual or a new ego identity as a spiritual teacher or as a spiritual person. But it's the same workings of the mind. And so we have to observe. We just observe all of this and we see, there we go. The ego came through the back door again. Yes? Susanna, yeah, that's called spiritual bypassing, spirit bypassing. I've heard this term. Yes, yes. Oh, definitely. And I've seen so many of those kind of things. And that's fine. It's nothing against it. It's just the ego mind. And but then it came to the understanding that it actually doesn't matter what a person looks like. It doesn't matter what kind of clothing they wear. It doesn't matter if they have a long white beard, and if they sit on a mountaintop. None of that actually matters. Those are outward expressions. And if you're doing that naturally from the inside, then it's a different thing. But it's much more common to be not awake than awake. We know this. So, the number one goal, not goal, but the number one bar to see how much progress you're making, if we want to put it like that, is in your relations with others, how you treat others, and how you react to others. This is the clearest indicator. How easily frustrated are you? Okay. How easily angered are you? How respectful do you treat people? How well do you treat people that don't treat you well, even? How well can you treat people that can't do anything for you? I'm sure you know this saying. These are the gauges. These are the real gauges. It's where it's at. It's not how long you can sit on a mountaintop with being perfectly quiet. And I know all of this because I've done these things. I mean, I've done several different 10-day Vipassana courses over the years, and done. I mean, if you watch the Thrive Like a Viking or the Travel Like a Viking channel, we just started getting in. I mean, we just hit the tip of the iceberg. We're only still like on the first year of 10 years of world exploration. So you will know. And that's how I know that you don't have to be a monk sitting on a mountaintop to become awakened. Oh, that's a good one. Brian says, my farmer friends would say, you can dress the pig up, but it's still a pig. Right, absolutely. Absolutely. So Nancy says, everything you're saying is resonating. I have done several of these meditations with y'all, observing the ego at work in detachment. So beautiful. Thank you. Yes. I'm glad you're here, my friend. And yes, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Crystal says, I used to try to change people. Although my heart was in the right place, it was a form of resistance. Now I just let people be and accept what is. I don't get angry like I used to. Yes, guys, and this is a very profound thing, because when we realize, awakening, you could say, is realizing the wholeness that you are. It's realizing that right now, in this moment, is your destiny. This moment right now is your destiny. It's not off in the future somewhere. That's a structural thinking of the mind. This moment is the totality of what is. It's as perfect as anything can be. I know that the ego mind still says, no. All kinds of things have to change before it's perfect. No. This moment, meaning your ultimate nature, is not moving from some state of incompletion until some eventual state of completion in some future time. It's all now. And this is the ultimate realizing, is that I am already whole and complete. That means that nothing can be added to me or subtracted from me. Nothing in this experience can be added or subtracted from all that is. And so the relationships, when you realize this, the relationships with others transforms completely, because you no longer think that that person has something that you can gain from them, and that maybe they're withholding it from you. So you've got resentments, or you want them to be a certain way. Oh, if only my mom would awaken, if only my dad would awaken, and then they could be like this, and then they could see the light, and then their life would blah, blah, blah. You have to realize deeply that it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever if they do or not, if anyone does or not. No one can subtract or add anything to you. You are already complete. The ego mind doesn't want to hear that, though. It says, no, no, no. No, I've got all kinds of trauma from the past. I've got a big, long a thing that I got to work out with my psychiatrist, and I got to take years of therapy. No, I'm not perfect right now. I'm not whole and complete right now. But you are. Now, perfect, there's different. I mean, perfect as in exactly in place, as it's meant to be. So, let's see. Erica J says, Release to Allow. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza is also a phenomenal read. Releasing old programming, reprogramming the subconscious, becoming one with source. Definitely. I used to watch a lot of Joe Dispenza. Very highly recommend. Yeah. Yes, John says, I think that sharing your joy is the way to go. For that, you must have joy first. Definitely. We must. We must realize it. We must realize that we are joy. Yeah. And then we become like the flaming inferno that can light other things on fire in a good way. Spiritual fire. Jerry says, I realize there is a lot more humor in all the things that tried my patience before. I just look for it and it's there. Absolutely. This is another very good gauge. How lighthearted are you? How playful is your experience of life? Yes? How childlike are you? There's a big difference between being childish and childlike. Childlike is the sense of wonderment and innocence and playfulness. And this is the awakened heart, definitely. Quick to laugh. That's another very good gauge. How easy is it to make, how quickly can you laugh? Can you smile? Yeah? That it doesn't take all kinds of things to pull you out of some deep storyline of I'm depressed, or of things are not going right in my life and I've failed, why me? All these things are just trickery of the ego mind to take you away from the joy that is your birthright. Yes, Aaron Johnson, that's a very good question. What about seeing others struggle? It hurts my heart to see loved ones so deep in mental pain. Definitely. Definitely it does. There's no easy way. That will never get easy. Seeing your loved ones in pain is never easy. And it's not meant to be. This human experience, we have the empathy. Especially as we develop our capabilities, we have immense empathy. We can feel others. We can feel their joy. We can feel their pain. We can feel the vibrational state of others. Even if they're not in front of us, we can feel it. We become so much more receptive and sensitive to the energies. It is all about the energies. And so we can be receptive to that. And so when our loved ones are in pain, we feel the pain. We are not in pain because we observe, but we feel that. We are there with them because it's happening to the one. And so the thing is to realize that Each person is on their journey towards awakening. Will it happen in this life experience or not? It's a great question. For many people, it will. But we can rest assured, and we can rest assured by direct observation in our own life and over the years, once this is in our mind, that each person is put in the exact position that they're in for the greatest chance of their awakening. And so what appears like struggles and pains can actually be the greatest gift. And so we have to allow them to feel it. This is why so many people, if their parents, for example, insulate them from so much because they don't want them to be in pain. That's a natural response. But if the parents insulate them too much, or if society insulates them too much from experiencing pain and all of that, then the growth doesn't happen. You have to experience it, and it's okay for them to experience that. It's okay. I had times in my life that were of immense, agonizing pain. And at the time, I would have gladly traded it for anything. But now I can see that all of that was necessary. Every step, every heartache, all of it. Not one thing could be different because that's how it happened. And here we are. If it hadn't happened exactly like that, we wouldn't be exactly like this. Hello, Ms. T. Good to see you here. Yes, Brian says, you can see the person's life on their face. Hopefully my face will show the peace on my face at the end of my days. Yes, definitely. You can see this. It is also in the aura. Definitely in the aura. The mental, emotional energy field. Yeah, how many of us know that you can feel the vibes, you can feel the vibrations, especially as the ego mind dissolves, you become infinitely more sensitive to energies. And so you can feel them, but you don't take them on. That's the magnificent part. So many people that want to say that they're empaths and stuff, what they really mean is that they sense, but they take it on, and they don't know how to not feel it. And so they can feel drained, and they can feel heavy around certain people, especially like what I call energetic vampires. You know what I'm talking about? The people that always just suck the positive energy out of everything, and you just feel drained after hanging out with them. Yeah? And so this is the mental, emotional energy field. And it's like an aura. It extends several feet from the body. And you can feel this when certain people walk into the room that have cultivated their state of mind, or that have had the positive light flowing through them. It brightens the experience. And people don't know why, but they're just attracted to you. They just like you. They just, oh yeah, she's a great person, or they're a great guy, or yeah, everyone. They just like to have you around because the lightness of the energy. And yes, it shows on your face, it shows in the eyes. It shows in the eyes, definitely. But it also shows just in the presence, just being next to the person, sitting next to the person. Yes, even being here, connected in this way, we can feel this collectively. It's just amazing. There's no end. There's no end to the depth of the sensitivity that you can feel, the energies and life flowing through you. That's why we get gut sensations about things. I don't know. I just didn't like that guy, even though he was all smiles and everybody else seemed to like him. There wasn't something right. So you don't have to explain that in a verbal way in your mind because you felt it. And once you become able to trust what you're feeling, this can take practice and deconditioning. But once you can trust the heart energy and know what it is, then you don't even have to explain it in words. And you're okay with, well, I just felt that way. Yes, guys, we should talk about reincarnation, the concept of reincarnation, the concept of the one life. We should talk about that at some point. We might do it next week. We might do it next week because I'll be back. Crystal says, Aaron, that was my hang up in life, seeing people suffer. But I've been trying to accept that everyone is on a journey that we don't understand. I try to stop standing in judgment of what is. Absolutely. Stop standing in judgment of what is. Because when you do, you're questioning the ultimate power of the universe. You're saying, well, this shouldn't be happening to that person. And everything happens exactly as it happens and cannot happen any other way. So, John says, Nate, is meditation then the only way to raise our own vibration, monitoring our thoughts? Well, meditation is the way. Meditation is the source from which all else stems. When you purify the intentions, when you purify the thoughts and the mind, everything else stems from that. So meditation is the ultimate way. Meditation, observing the mind like this, observing the ego mind, the workings of it, and what it shows you. But you will then be led to doing other things that raise the vibrations. There's lots of other things, because once you start raising your own vibration, once you start observing and the heart energy, it's through the observation that the ego mind dissolves and gets out of the way. And the lion heart can shine through into the world like it wants to. You will be led to do things that will increase, that will raise the vibration even higher. You'll be led to spend time with people that need you. You'll be led to do things unquestionably for people that need you in some way, in some healthy way, not in some enabling way. The heart energy can tell the difference between enabling and helping. And the ego wants to enable a lot of times. And the lion heart understands the difference and is okay with saying, okay, well, they're suffering, I see that, but they have to go through that. I can't be enabling them. But then the lion heart can say, okay, this person needs this energy. And we'll be guided towards that, whether that's volunteering with people, whether that's teaching meditation classes, helping to share what you've found or what has found you, whether that is, big brothers, big sister thing. I mean, that's great. Whether it is donating to people that will never know who it is, all of this stuff, you'll just be guided to. That all raises the vibration. You'll be guided to ice bathing. You'll be guided to sauna therapy. Those are deep forms of meditation, raising the vibration. You'll share it with others. And so it's a compounding thing. It's a compounding thing. It's not just the meditation, but that's where everything starts, because the mind precedes everything. Yes, Kenny Green, very true. Watch, observe. You are not the talking mind. You witness the talking mind. That's right. That is right. Freebird says, feeling free in my mind, not to have to react to all the negativity in the world is such a blessing. I feel so light living in the moment. Yes, definitely. This is a great way to say it. You're free from reactiveness. And when this happens, you become less reactive, but also you become less reaction seeking. And you see how many of your behaviors in your past life of the ego mind were reaction seeking. The ego mind wants to get a reaction out of somebody. It wants to do a little something and then, oh, okay, because the ego mind says, that's how powerful I am. See what I've done? This is all subconscious, of course. You're not thinking these things, although some people are. The ego mind says, look how powerful I am. I've done this, and so I'll say something and get a reaction from that person. Even if it's a negative, horrible reaction, that doesn't matter to the ego mind. It just wants the attention. Think of a toddler, think of a child, that if they're not getting positive affection and love and positive attention, they'll do things that will get them negative attention and scold, because it doesn't matter. It's still the attention that they need, the love, the energy. It's the energy exchange that they need. And so if they're not getting the positive, they'll do things to get the negative stuff. And the ego mind is very similar. Ms. T says the gut seems to be your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Oh, absolutely. We can just feel it, definitely. We can feel the 100 trillion living organisms that inhabit our gut and how they interact with the brain and the heart. The brain, heart, gut resonance, all of it is one. It's the energy field that is flowing, and we can feel it. The Taoist practice, yes? Sam Potsick says, I'm still learning to not take on people's energy, but to just observe it. Yes, yes. You observe, and you observe the sensation in yourself, the reaction in yourself. And you say, okay, they act this way. Now, what was my reaction to that? Did I immediately want to feel sorry for them? Did I immediately want to feel anger for them? Did I immediately get disturbed or think that they're less than? All these, we just observe. We observe the working of the mind, and we use them as the meditation, the situation as the meditation. So, okay, guys, let's see here. A couple more. Blue Wolf, I like that one. Says, speak with wisdom like a child directly from the heart. Robert Hunter. Nice. That's a good one. I like it. Sam Potsek, the cold exposure is like a war between the ego and the self. Oh, absolutely. The ego's like, we got to get out of here. We got to get to safety. But you take the reins. You take control, and you make it happen. You override that panic response. It's wonderful. Okay, guys. Well, we got so much work to do here, and I'm only here 2 more days. So I will see you guys on Saturday at 12 noon at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters. And then we'll be right here next Monday on this exact thing. I think it'd be a good time to talk about reincarnation, the concept of it, and just my thoughts on it, all right? And I'll read to you guys something potentially very profound that illustrates the way, okay? So thank you guys for being here. Appreciate everything. We'll see you next time. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Hey, Mom Computer, glad to see you were here. Thank you. All right, guys.